fighting to free Julian Assange. We are fighting propaganda.
We are fighting propaganda.
We must defeat the propaganda that exists in the minds of people if we are to free Julian Assange and be free ourselves. The big difference between the journalism of Julian Assange and what the mainstream media do is the evidence he has given us. The provision of evidence allows us to know whether we are being truthfully informed or not.
Free the whistleblowers!
Our freedom is plainly tied to the freedom of Julian Assange. We will continue fighting to free Julian, no matter how many lies governments and media wish to tell.
I would like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional inhabitants and custodians of this land, and pay my respects to the elders, past, present and emerging. Thank you.
Who is Julian Assange?
Julian Assange is an Australian citizen. He was born in Townsville, Queensland in 1971. In 2006, he founded an online media organisation called WikiLeaks.
What is WikiLeaks?
Good question. WikiLeaks is an organisation that publishes information about crime provided to it by whistleblowers that is of public interest.
Is WikiLeaks a publisher? Do they publish information?
Yes. WikiLeaks publishes only primary source facts that reveal crimes and misinformation provided to it by whistleblowers. It has been challenged legally many times, but has been proven to only ever have published 100% truth, a record that no other publisher can claim.
Why have the mainstream media failed to support Julian Assange?
The mainstream media are funded by a small number of people who are complicit with the politicians who are perpetrating these crimes. Individual journalists are fearful of speaking out against their bosses. The mainstream media, including public broadcasters like the ABC and the BBC, have become propagandists who maintain the fear-based national security interests narrative. During the 10-year-long persecution of Julian Assange, the mainstream media have participated in a smear campaign based on lies to discredit Julian Assange. This smear campaign has now been exposed and the perpetrators have been revealed.
Is Julian Assange someone that we should support?
Yes, he is revealing our government's deep-seated corruption.
Who's ever heard of Mike Pompeo? Do you know who Mike Pompeo is? Mike Pompeo used to be...
Who's Mike Pompeo?
Mike Pompeo used to be the director of the CIA, and in his currently he is the Secretary of State in the United States. He said, and I quote, he said, "We lied, we stole, we cheated, we have programs for that. We lied, we stole, we cheated, we have programs for that." By Pompeo's words, they lie, they cheat, they steal, they commit crimes, but Julian Assange has never stolen, who has never murdered anyone, who has never lied, is in the prison. Hillary Clinton wanted to drone Julian Assange. Do you know what a drone is, people? You know, it's those things that they fly in the air that land on someone's house and blow up. That's what they wanted to do to the Ecuadorian embassy in London. That's what Hillary Clinton wanted to do. Wanted to drone central London and murder Assange. Song of it. Everyone happy. Bring the whistleblowers.
Birmingham Prime Newcastle trades councils have voted to join the campaign to halt the extradition of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to the United States, where he could face 175 years in jail. In recent weeks, the 3 metropolitan trades councils, which are attended by delegates from all local councils in the UK, have voted overwhelmingly to support Assange. Even in Plymouth, where a similar motion was defeated last year, the National Union of Journalists inspired a resolution, and that was approved last week. Both Birmingham and Plymouth meetings invited a speaker from the Don't Extradite Assange campaign to address the meeting before the vote was taken. Now, Julian Assange's extradition hearing is set to resume in September. And as we heard last week, the National Union of Journalists resolution has become a template used across the trade union movement and is being circulated to other trade unions, Labour Party bodies and campaign organisations to adopt it. And we will be doing the same here. We will be talking to the trade union movement and try to get them on board so that they also seek a halt to the extradition of Julian Assange.
Reveal of war crimes by the United States in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I do feel for David McBride. He's our Australian Chelsea Manning. He's such a brave man, and he wants to go to court so he can shine a light on all these war crimes that have been committed. And the only people who are looking at facing jail are David McBride, who faces a lifetime imprisonment, and the journalists who reported it, who really don't know if they're going to be charged or not.
Free the truth. Stand up for justice or you won't have any. Stand up for justice for others or you won't have any for yourselves.
Things are moving quite rapidly in the UK, and there's been a motion that has been tabled in the House of Commons in the UK. And it says the following. It was tabled last week: Julian Assange, press freedom and public interest journalism. It's in the 2019-2020 session of the House of Commons in the UK, and it's been supported by more than 19 members of the House. And the House notes the July 2020 statement by the National Union of Journalists, the International Federation of Journalists, Reporters Without Borders, and others in relation to the WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, and the House of Commons affirms its commitment to press freedom and public interest journalism. What it means is that the House of Commons, 19 members, want Julian Assange freed. The extradition should be halted. He should not be extradited to the US. Julian Assange has committed no crime. He is a journalist. He's told the truth. He has disclosed government war crimes committed by the US. And that is the reason why they want him in the US, and that's why they have requested his extradition. 19 members of the House of Commons do not agree, and they have called for press freedom and public interest journalism. Let's have Julian Assange back in Australia where he belongs. Thank you.
We want you to know that we feel that cruelty to anybody on earth is cruelty to everybody on earth. Putting people in solitary confinement that are entirely innocent for unlimited periods of time is incredibly cruel. Injustice to anybody anywhere on earth is an injustice to everybody on earth. We're people, we're human beings, and we're in an era we have to stand up for the citizenry against governments that can be very dictatorial and very draconian at times.
Are you aware, people, that helicopters fly thousands of meters above the surface of the earth? And those helicopters have weapons. They include missiles, guns, rockets, and they fire them from kilometres up in the air, and they kill innocent people who don't even know that they are being targeted. Do you know that? That's what the Apache helicopter was doing in Baghdad in 2007. Thousands of meters above the ground, and with the sights of the helicopter gunmen, with their sights focused on people who were going about their daily lives. And they were all dead within moments of being targeted. That's why Julian Assange revealed that. He published that video. It's called Collateral Murder. Published it on YouTube. You can check it out. Collateral Murder, it's called on YouTube. It has something like 10 million views around the world, right? And it just reveals the most obscene crime. And ever since that day, ever since that information was made public, I don't know how old some of you are, but that video is now 10 years old. You know, how old were you 10 years ago? Were you aware of it? Did you know about it? You should find out about it, because that's your government, right? If they're able to live with that, and if they silence the ones who actually reveal that crime, they know about it. They know what they did, and yet they let it all wash under the carpet, right? So that raises the next question, right? Why has the mainstream media, which is that the role of the media is to inform us, right? To tell us what is happening. Why didn't they defend Julian Assange? Why did they take the side of the government?
This is where it gets a bit scary, folks. The mainstream media are funded by a small number of people who are complicit with the politicians who are perpetrating these crimes. Individual journalists are fearful of speaking out against their bosses. The mainstream media, including public broadcasters like the ABC and the BBC, have become propagandists who maintain the fear-based national security interests narrative. During the 10-year-long persecution of Julian Assange, the mainstream media have participated in a smear campaign based on lies to discredit Julian Assange. This smear campaign has now been exposed and the perpetrators have been revealed. If Julian Assange and the rest of the media are silenced, democracy dies.
It's over.
It's over, folks. We will then be living in a totalitarian regime, and I can tell you right now, it will make Adolf Hitler look like a schoolboy.
This is from the National Union of Journalists. It's a resolution, and it notes that the extraterritorial application of the Espionage Act, that's the American Espionage Act, and the indictment of Assange criminalises journalistic activities. In this case, activities carried out on UK soil by a non-US national in collaboration with numerous UK media, including The Guardian, Channel 4 and The Telegraph.
Only one decision.
No extradition.
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 Only one decision.
No extradition. No extradition.